All right, here we go. We've got a kangaroo silhouette to do, and kangaroos look kind of complicated, but we're gonna take it one step at a time. So let's go ahead and start with these great big kangaroo feet, and you can just start them out near the bottom of your paper. Oops, I got a smudge on my paper there. So I'm gonna draw just a simple line, only about half of my paper because we need the other half for the tail. Got to save some space, so just lightly, I'll say there's the bottom of my kangaroo feet. And we're working on this back leg here, so I'm going to have a line that goes a little bit up, shorter than the line on the bottom. And then there's a couple of bumps here, but we're just going to look at the angle, the diagonal that's happening there, and how long it is. It's not that long, so I'm just going to sketch out another straight line, shorter than this one. So we've got long, medium, short. And it's kind of funny, if you look at this white shape instead of the black part of the kangaroo, doesn't this almost look like a shoe or a sock if you just look at the white part? So that's the shape we're going to try to make on our paper. I'm thinking about making a sock or a shoe. And I'm going to draw the whole shape really lightly. And then I'll come back and erase just that little bit.
Blah. Can you make believer?
Can I make believe? I sure can.
We want to listen. We want to make this. We want to listen to the song "Believer," like that song.
Oh, a song request. We can do that during the last, like, maybe 5 or 10 minutes when you guys are free drawing. Because it takes too much time for me to go to YouTube, find the song, push play, skip the ad, blah, blah, blah. You guys want to draw. So I'll do that when I don't have to give instructions for the lesson.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 exactly.
Blah, blah, blah.
So we're going to turn this funny little curve into a tail, and it's going to be thinner at the tip and thicker at the body. I think my printer cut it off a little bit. I'm going to darken that in. So here's the skinny tip of the tail. And as we make this curve, our lines are going to get farther and farther away so that the tail gets thicker and thicker. You can see I'm holding way back on my pencil. That makes it easier to do these kinds of curves. If you're holding very close to the tip and you try to do it, number one, you can't see, right? My hand's blocking it. The other problem is you can't make those nice long strokes. So I like to hold way, way back on my pencil. Then we have this great big curve for the back, and it's going to end right above the feet. So let's go ahead and make a great big curve. Again, it's way easier if you hold way back on your pencil, then you just move your fingers and you can get a great big curve. We're going to jump back down to the feet for a second, and we're going to look at that white shape again. It almost looks like a really skinny carrot to show the space in between the two legs. So I'm going to sketch out a really skinny carrot. So I can start separating out this leg right here. And we're going to try to make this leg about the same size as that leg. So if I look at this distance right here, I want to try to do that same distance on this side. And that will be the thickness of the other leg. Then we have a little diagonal line right there. A little diagonal line. Maybe we can even zoom in so it's a little easier to see. Then we're going to go ahead and draw this back foot, this longer one over here. We've basically got the top and then the diagonal. So from that little diagonal, I'll go forward. And kangaroo have really big feet, so don't worry about making them too long. Too long is better than too short. And we'll just wrap it around for that toe. You can see that little white space that separates the 2 feet. And this part is really important. This one is long and this one is short, isn't it? They aren't the same length. So I have to make sure that my kangaroo's feet are different lengths. One is shorter, one is longer. And this lower foot is going to curve right back into that big shape. Like that. I know that's a lot of steps, so I'm going to go ahead and pause right here. Oh, May is joining us. I think this is the first timer. Hi, May. I'm going to back up my camera so you can see what we're drawing. We haven't done the whole outline of the kangaroo yet. Oh, is that Natalie? Natalie's going by the name May now? Alrighty, let's move on to the body and the head. Just a little note, the nose is going to stick out a little bit farther than the feet. So you can double check on your paper. I have just enough room on my paper to get that head in there. If you don't, you can stick another piece of paper underneath. That'll make your paper bigger. Or you can just have your kangaroo be a little bit more upright instead of leaning forward. That'll work too. So we're going to ignore the arms, we're going to ignore the nose, we're going to ignore the ears, and we're just going to go for this really big shape first, which has a little bit of a curve right here. We're going to ignore those bumps, but we have a curve. And it's going to switch around and curve the other way for the neck. Just ignore the arms for now. Back of the neck and the head without the nose. It's going to look kind of funny at first. But all we're after are these big line changes, curving that way and then curving that way, curving that way, then curving that way. And then let's go ahead and stick the ears on top so we can kind of get our bearings here. Just make a little leaf shape. Pointy on the end, curved on the sides. Kangaroos have pretty big ears too, so don't be afraid to make those pretty big. The other one has a slightly different shape. Let's go ahead and zoom in again. We can see it more clearly. We can see a curve on this side and then an S curve on the other side. So on this front side, we'll just have a regular curve. But on the back side, it changes. It starts by going like a leaf shape. And then about halfway down, we're going to change direction. And for the face, if you have more room on your paper, you can use this diagonal. I have less room on my paper, so I'm going to make the head go down a little bit more. And we've got this little kind of a zigzag like lightning for the brow right there. Kind of like a really long letter Z. Then we'll round off the nose and bring it right back to the body. If yours is more like this one, more diagonal, you might see that little bump for the jaw and then the nose on the end. If it were on mine, I'd go like that. Then we have the arms. After you pick the line for the neck, then we're going to go ahead and switch the curve around, go the other way. And it's that same thing, just like the feet. We have a long line, medium line, short line. And we're going to follow it back around in 3 sections. Tiny line, medium line, longest line. Just looks like a little hook at first. We're going to go ahead and wait here. Let you guys refine your kangaroo outline. Take a look at it from afar. You go, oh, do I like everything that's happening? Do I wish that something were different? Now's the time to change it. I think my kangaroo's back could be a little bit more square compared to the demo drawing. And I always like to draw my new lines first and then come back and erase my old ones so I can see the changes that are happening. Just a few more things to add to the outline. We've got a little bump for the thumb. And then we've got a little bump for the kangaroo pouch. You can also smooth out some of these lines that were a little straight at the beginning. Round everything off. And when you like your outline of your kangaroo, that's when you start inking. You're going to get some kind of felt tip pen or a ballpoint pen if you don't have any other pen. but I like fine tip markers the best. And we'll go around the outline one piece at a time. I don't try to do the whole thing in one go. I like to go one line at a time. Lift my pen, get comfortable, do the next one. Lift my pen, get comfortable. Because we can't erase pen, if we go a little bit more slowly, we'll probably make less mistakes. And we can always find ways to use our mistakes without it being very noticeable. It's not the end of the world, but I'd be a little happier if I didn't make them in the first place. My life would be a little easier. So take it slow, one line at a time. Hold your pen really lightly. You don't want to have the death grip. The tighter you hold your pen, the tighter and the shakier the lines tend to be. So I try to be super relaxed, barely holding my pen, barely letting the tip touch the paper. Just let it float along. Don't forget to take a deep breath every once in a while. We tend to hold our breath when we're doing this kind of artwork, trying to keep a steady hand. And remember, everything in the lower half of the kangaroo is black anyway. So if you make a little mistake on the tail or on the feet, not to worry. It's going to be all filled in black anyway. With my pens too, I tend to hold them way at the back so I can make a bigger curve with less movement. It's a lot easier than holding it at the tip and trying to do this big curve sketch by sketch. A lot easier to hold way back and just wiggle those fingers to get those big curves. I'm going to pause here for about 2 more minutes and we'll keep going at 4:26. If you're already done outlining, start coloring in. I just mentioned how everything is black on the bottom, so you can go ahead and start filling in if you're ready to go. Everybody else who's working on their outline, you have until 4:26 to ink that outline. Alrighty, time to start putting in our little koala. So I'm gonna grab, you can grab your pencil if you want to, or you can go straight to pen, that's up to you. I'm gonna go ahead and go straight to pen. First, I'm going to mark where I want my ground line, where I want that line to separate the blackness from the mountains. That's a little bit above the legs. So I'm gonna pick right about here. Doesn't have to be straight. The ground isn't completely flat, so you can do little bumps if you want. Don't worry about it being perfect, because again, everything below is colored black anyway. So you just have to make sure that top part of it is the way you want it. So for this koala, we see this big curve on the back. So I'm going to start there. This is another one that's going to be colored in black, so there's a little wiggle room for any lines that don't go quite the way we want them to. Then I'm going to put on a circle for the head. Doesn't have to be a perfect circle. And again, you can go around a couple of times. It's going to be all filled in black anyway. And then the other line of the body is going to have a little bump for the arm and then go down. For the ears, they're a little bit like raindrop shapes, with one side that's nice and round, the other one that's pointy. But because it's fur, there's a couple of little points. Overall, though, raindrop shape. So I'm going to start with that raindrop shape on both sides. And then I'll just add a couple more little spikes for fur. If you want to, you can have the nose a little bit like a rounded rectangle. This one just has a little dot for the nose, but if you're going to have a nose, I'd say have the whole nose. And there's that arm sticking out. If it's easier, remember, you can always look at the white shape instead of the black shape. And there's a little bit of a shark fin shape going on right here. So if I were to draw that shark fin down here, I'd start it kind of like that. And that'll give me my first line for the arm. Whoops, try not to cover up our inspiration piece while I'm drawing.
Tonight, I'll be eating a pork banh mi with extra jalapeno.
And it almost touches the ground. This arm does. You can see the hand right above. You don't have to make it that long, but I was a little surprised. What noise? Dad? I don't know what other noise there is. Not coming from my house. And we've got some little koala claws at the end for hanging on to those eucalyptus trees. And just like we added fur texture to the ears, you can add fur texture to the body too if you want. You can add a little to the arms if you want, just a little bit, not too much. And after you've done all that work of combining these shapes, then we can come back in with our marker and fill it in all black. So we won't see any of these lines that helped us make this koala shape. I'm just leaving the nose white for now. After I color in my koala, I will probably color in part of the nose black, but for right now, just gonna focus on the body, ears, arm. And then for that nose, I'm going to fill it in except for the shine. So I'm going to leave the left side and the top and just fill in the rest and see how that looks. I don't know if you can tell it's a nose. The good thing about this is if it doesn't look good, you just fill it in black. I'll try taking off the bottom, see how that looks. It's not too bad. You might think it's a nose. But if you don't like it, you just fill it in black, no problem. Then we're going to go ahead and put in this mountain that's right behind the koala. And you can see it goes from one side of the kangaroo all the way to the other. So there's a line on one side. Here's a line on the other side. If it goes off of your kangaroo, that's fine too. And one more mountain behind that. You can see it way back there. And one more mountain behind that. There's a tiny one at the front here. If you want to put that one in too. And then we'll go ahead and start on the bilby. So we're going to again start with the curve of the back. If you want to start in pencil first, that's fine. And again, we have kind of that raindrop shape where it's pointy on one side and rounded on the other. So I'm going to go ahead and make this side rounded. And this side pointy. A little bit of a curving raindrop. Because then we can go ahead and add the legs and the tail. Now, if you find that, oh, my legs look too long, I think I put my raindrop too far away from the ground. No problem. You just change the ground, add a little more ground. There's a little bump of dirt right there. You can fix it easy peasy. And then I'll have a little curved line for the tail. If you want to see what a bilby looks like in real life, you can look it up, B-I-L-B-Y, it's in the chat. And we're going to have a tiny little line sticking out for arms. And we'll add a little bit of a bump to our raindrop for where those arms connect. There's long ears, a little bit like a rabbit. And a little bit of a long nose. poking out. Fill the whole thing in black, and if you want to add a couple little spikes of fur coming off the back, you can do that too. And then let's go ahead and put in a moon. I'm not going to do the same kind of moon as this drawing. I think that's too hard, so I'm just going to do a regular crescent moon by drawing kind of a circle first. Remember, you can draw lots of lines because it's going to be a black sky anyway. We just want the inside shape to look pretty circular. And then I'll put another circle inside of that one. Again, I'm just looking at the outside lines, looking at that white shape on the inside. It's okay if I draw extra lines on the outside, because then we'll come in with our black pen and just cover those up. Our big marker. And depending on how much time you want to spend on your drawing, you can put in stars that you'll have to color around. That's up to you. You can also just color the whole thing black if you want to do it fast. And now we're just going to put in a couple of trees. So down here by Mr. Bilby, we've got a little tree growing over there. So I'm going to start in the ground and just with one line kind of zigzag it up. Doesn't have to be exactly like mine. You just want a little bit of a wiggle in there. And we want to make it skinnier at the top and a little bit thicker at the bottom. So I'm going to follow my wiggly line again. Make it thicker as it goes into the ground. And then I'll start adding a couple of branches wherever there's a wiggle. So like here's a curve. On that curve, I'm going to shoot out a little branch. Little letter Y. On the other side too, I'll have a branch with little branches coming off. If you want to add leaves, you can do that too. You just color in a big shape for the leaves. I'm going to go ahead and start working on this tree that's in between the bilby and the koala. And again, I'm just going to make a wiggly line. You can go up and past the mountains. That's fine. I want to make it a little thicker as it goes down into the ground, a little thinner as it grows up into the tallest branches. And after we have that one wiggly trunk, we can start adding little branches, little letter Ys. that start growing off in another direction. If you have room, you can add one more behind the koala like there is in the demonstration picture. If you don't think you have enough room back there, that's okay. You can leave it blank. And again, if you want to add some leaves, all you have to do is start coloring in a black shape in little blobs. Just coloring in on those branches in little shapes. They don't have to be solid black. You can use the little bits of white as texture. Give it a little bit different look to show that this is a different thing from the mountains or the trees or the koala, or the tree trunk, I should say. I got a request to wait, so I'm going to pause right here. If you are looking for something to do, just keep coloring in that sky black or adding those stars. I usually let you guys color in the black on your own time because that's the easy part. Just filling this all in. Okay, last thing, to shade the mountains, you can do a billion little dots like this artist did, or if you want a little bit quicker version, we can split our mountain in half with a little zigzaggy line, like that. And then we'll add lines to just one side. Same thing over here. I can go right down into my koala, come back out the other side. And I'm going to add the lines only to the left side of this mountain. I can draw right through my koala because it's already black. All the way filled in. I can draw right over trees if there's any. right through the trees. So that's a little bit faster way if you don't want to make a million little dots. We have about 3 minutes left together, so just work on the part of the drawing that you want to work on. If you don't finish before the end of class, that's okay. You can always finish up on your own time. But I hope you will submit it to the art show by going to our website and clicking on the handy dandy button for uploading your artwork. Just one more minute, and then we're going to go ahead and share with how far we got. Alrighty, time for sharing. I'll take the spotlight off of mine, and who's ever ready to share, go ahead and hold it up to the camera, and I will spotlight your camera for everyone. Looks like Fusi's ready, or Fuli. Let's go ahead and spotlight for everyone. Oh, that's not a kangaroo, but that's cute. Nice job on
That's a cat. That's a cat.
I can tell.
Fully draw.
I
draw
can tell it was cat.
kangaroo. I draw a kangaroo.
Ooh, good kangaroo. But again, on that line
One
paper.
more. It's not coloring. This is my cat.
Let's see.
It's not.
Ooh, there we go.
It's
Super
not.
cute.
I just only colored the heart.
That's okay. We know you're a good colorer. You'll finish coloring. Anybody else ready? Hadika, maybe?
Wow, wow.
Let's
Ow,
hold
ow, ow.
up. Oh, sorry, close. I already got Hadika first. Ooh, I like it. You put in lots of stars too, it looks like. Very nicely done. And Callista's ready too. Let's go ahead and put up Callista's. Ooh, just like me, has to fill in the black, but
Ooh, I like
looking
it.
good.
I like it. I like it. So cute. It's so cute.
Ooh, another one. Just need some black. Just fill it in. Very nice.
Lots of black.
Lots of black, that's right. Natalie or Tracy, did you want to share? Kristen's ready to share. Let's go ahead and see Kristen's first. Ooh, it's a big kangaroo.
Ooh, it's so humongous. I like it.
It
I
needs
like
lots of black. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess I can. There he
And
is.
look,
Now
that's so real. It looks so real.
Yeah, so real.
Well, he needs a lot of black yet.
Yep, just needs a lot of filling in. Natalie, Tracy, did either of you want to share? We have 1 more minute left.
There's one. Natalie.
Ooh, let's replace the spotlight. Ooh.
Oh, great
Ooh.
koala.
So beautiful. So beautiful. And it's so light.
Nice work. How about Tracy?
Twisty.
I see her name. I don't see her yet. Hey, all right. There we go.
Let's see. Let me go ahead and spotlight for everyone.
Great
Ooh.
koala.
Ooh, it's so small. I love it. So cute. You need some black.
I like that koala.
Black. We all need lots of black.
Yep, we're all going to be filling it in, huh?
Blah, blah, blah. Also.
Black forever.
But that's it for today. Thank you for coming and drawing with me. I hope you'll come next time too if you need to take a picture. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and switch it back to my screen. Anybody who wants to take a picture and see what it looks like when it's done, we'll do that. Even though mine's not done. There we go. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for drawing. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
You're
Bye.
welcome.